Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to cut acrylic using the XTOOL M1 machine. Now these acrylic sheets here were purchased from their website. It's their 3mm thick black opaque acrylic sheets. Since the M1 is a diode laser machine, you can only cut in these opaque colors. So that means you cannot cut any other colors or transparent colors, including clear. You'll need a CO2 laser machine for that. Anyway, this was my first attempt in cutting this plastic, and as you can see, I totally messed it up. Here's a no soliciting plaque I tried to make, and let me say this here. Do not use a default acrylic sheet setting because it burned and bubbled on the back of the plastic. Also, the engraving setting was too high, and you can see on the back side it melted the plastic. Also, don't leave the plastic film on like I did. The film literally melted onto the acrylic sheet. So, to avoid all of this mess and wasting products or material, it's best to do a test cut like this one here on any material you're planning to cut or engrave. This test cut I did was on a 2mm acrylic sheet, and each square will be cut at a different setting with its own power, speed, and how many passes. This way you can see exactly which setting works the best with whatever material you're cutting. Oh yes, and I did want to mention that I did move my M1 machine in the garage because cutting plastic can be pretty stinky, and I didn't want any of the fume in my house. The XTOOL plastic wasn't too bad, but the 2mm acrylic I got from Amazon was so bad. The fume was just so strong, I mean, my eyes were watering. So from now on, this will be my new workstation for laser cutting. Now I'm going to peel off the plastic film and replace it with paper masking sheet because I still want my plastic to be protected from any scratches. And paper won't melt like plastic, so I'm hoping the machine can still cut and engrave with it on. I'm using a high to medium tack transfer paper. I'll link it down below. Also, I recently got this honeycomb laser bed. This is supposed to allow airflow between the material for a cleaner cut. Now, you can definitely use the triangular prisms that came with the machine, but the honeycomb bed will work better if you're cutting out small pieces. I'll link this one below as well. I think from my remembrance this was one of the cheapest one I found on Amazon. Anyway, you cannot put the bed directly onto the base plate because that would affect the focal length of the laser. This is something I learned recently, but the laser has a specific height that the beam works best at. For this machine, for the M1 machine, it's 30mm. And the focus can be moved vertically up or down within a range of 35mm. So from 16mm above the base plate to 19mm below the base plate. When processing with the base plate on, the thickness of the materials can be up to 16mm maximum, which can be measured automatically. Material thicker than 16mm, you would need to remove the base plate and use risers and adjust the focus manually. There's a great video that talks all about this in depth on auto and manual focusing the M1, so I highly suggest watching it because it's super important to know if you're working with this machine. I'll leave a card up here and also a link down below. So to remove the base plate, all you have to do is unscrew the screws and lift the base plate. So here's a little tip. You can tie a zip tie around the little holes here, so it's a lot easier to lift the base plate. Okay, now we're ready to make the test cut. I got this file on Etsy, and of course I'll link it down below, but I'm sure you can make it yourself if you wanted to. Like I said earlier, each square will be cut with a different power, speed, and number of passes, so make sure they are set accurately and correctly. I'm also setting the score engraving to 70% power, 40mm per second for speed, and 1 pass. For the outer rectangle, I want to cut it out, so let's set it to 100% power, 5mm per second with 3 passes. Now with the live image capture on, select Open Plate, User Defined Material, and click Auto Measure. In order for the auto measure to work, we need to make sure the laser dot is hitting the material. Also, the auto measure function actually measures the focal length, not the thickness of your material per se, so I guess I misunderstood it when I first started using this machine. So here it is, and the paper masking worked pretty well. It protected the plastic and it didn't affect the cut or the engraving. But looks like the numbers for the speed didn't engrave. I guess I messed up on the settings, so hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, so I just carved on the numbers so we can see what we're looking at here. So anyway, this is what it looks like. So when you look at the back side, you can see at the slow speed setting, there's quite a bit of scorching and melting of the plastic. The cut edge looks pretty rough too. It almost looks like the plastic bubbled from the heat. Now I believe the default setting for this material is 100% power, 4mm per second with 3 passes. But from our test cut, anything below the speed of 5mm is not good. Looks like the top 3 looks the best at 7mm per second with 3 passes. Okay, so with the right setting in mind, I'm going to cut these circle charms I made. Over here, we're going to select Open Plate, select User Defined Material, and click Auto Measure. Then let's set the power to 100, speed at 7mm per second, with 3 passes. You know what? I changed my mind. Let's do 80% power instead and see how it goes. And let's go ahead and process it. And here it is. This is the front side. Looks like the setting worked nicely. Up close, you can see the outline along the edge from the laser melting the plastic during the cutting process. And here's the side view. You can actually see the lines from the 3 passes it made to cut it. But overall, it looks smooth and clean. Now the back side, where the loop is, looks like the surface marred and melted a little from the heat. Now I'm guessing this happened because we had 2 cuts close together. So that is how you cut acrylic sheets with the M1. I will definitely do some engraving on acrylic for my next video, but I hope this video was helpful. Please like and subscribe to follow me for some more crafty and DIY videos. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!